the horror movie has returned, bringing back the evil one once again. Based on the only real exorcisms that are recognized in the Vatican, it is said that the original heroine is still actively working as an exorcist even today. The film is full of high energy, and you can catch up with the friends of the Ethereans to experience the story. However, as time passed, the number of demons increased significantly, their powers grew more and more evil, to the point that those who were possessed by them ended up either crippled or thrown into the depths of hell. They were inevitably overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude and horror of the demon's power, knowing that if things continued this way, the entire world would be plunged into an unprecedented crisis. For this very reason, for the first time ever, they decided to break with their usual practice and began to attack the prison. The expansion of the school not only allowed more people to learn exorcism, but also recruited nuns to take care of those possessed by evil spirits, and May was one of them. Although she was a girl, she wanted to be an exorcist because when she was a child, her mother had been possessed by an evil spirit, and one minute she was fine, the next she became more and more agitated, and finally her mother began to lose her mind, and she beat the door of the house with her head as if the next thing she saw was an evil demon. After this incident, her mother couldn't bear the torture of living and dying, and couldn't forgive herself for hurting her daughter over and over again, so she chose to kill herself. At the same time, it was also her mother's experience that gave her a heart of compassion, and she set her mind on becoming an exorcist to save those possessed by evil spirits. Sick people often watch exorcism cases, but on this particular day, May was swabbing an old man's body when a bizarre scene occurred. The liquid in the book bag, which had already been used up, suddenly increased in volume at a speed that could be seen by the naked eye, and the old man's blood gradually filled up the entire bag. But May, who was nearby, was not aware of this, and she was swabbing the old man's body as usual. When Xiaomei saw this, she was horrified, for this was the song his mother used to sing when she was possessed by an evil spirit. While Xiaomei was puzzled, the old man's body suddenly showed a burnt bloodstain, and the radio in the hospital room started to play the familiar melody again. Xiaomei, who was strong and healthy, tried to run away, but the door slammed shut, and no matter how much she knocked on it, the melody was useless. The room light flickered, and May, panicking, turned back, too scared to see the bright light. The demon grabbed Xiaomei by the wrist, but she started to dance a romantic waltz. As she danced, the lights flashed harshly. Xiaomei screamed, repelling the demon in the old man. The school planned to send her back to the monastery, but Black saw her potential as an exorcist. Instead, they decided to train her. Xiaomei was excited and studied hard. She finally performed her first exorcism. What a great story! I must share it with my girl. Still watching the movie alone? She never imagined that the target of her demonic attack would be the girl she's been caring for all along. Eventually, the two fathers approached the girl's room with caution, holding a Bible and a cross in their hands. But when the girl turned around, they were both shocked to see that she appeared gloomy, filled with darkness, and had a vacant expression on her face. Her eyes were dark, and she looked so vacant that even her bones seemed dislocated. Witnessing this, they could only recite the Bible without difficulty, yet the evil one extended two fingers and blocked their ears. The evil one was hissing and grinning above them. The two continued reciting the Bible below, but as the light flickered, the room plunged into darkness, and the evil one leaped down from above. When he came to the window, he initially stared at Xiaomei with a blank expression on his face. Then, he began to open his eyes wide and cover them with his hands. Xiaomei couldn't comprehend what she was doing, but in the next moment, two huge bloody gouges appeared on the girl's hands, and some vomit-inducing maggots kept crawling out from them. However, he was no better than a bishop's trainer, he was just warming up. Before he had read a few verses of the Bible, the demon lurking under the bed grabbed him by the ankles and instantly put him down. Meanwhile, the father of the gods, dressed in adulterous attire, stepped forward to witness another horrifying scene. When things reached this state of affairs, everyone present was at their wits' end with the evil spirit. But May walked in at that very moment. She knew it was the demon that had taken possession of the girl's body, and she decided to awaken her soul in a different way. After a few moments of crying out, she was able to get her soul out of the bed.
Natalie, I'm here. I'm here with you.
After the exorcism was completed, the girl eventually regained her consciousness and desperately pleaded with May to save her. However, it seemed that the evil spirits heard her plea and took control of her body once more. The two fathers quickly rushed to her side and pulled the hair from her mouth. Meanwhile, Lao He and Xiao Mei started reciting the Bible. As the holy words filled the room, the lights flickered once again, and the evil spirits within the girl's body began to struggle violently, trying to resist. Following this exorcism, Xiao Mei gained fame and recognition. Naturally, her story also attracted a man named Xiao Shui many years ago. Xiao Shui's sister had an unfortunate miscarriage due to an accident, and since then she has never been able to conceive a child again. The sister felt so guilty about this that she performed a soul-seeking ceremony, letting the evil demon enter her body in order to torment herself and relieve her guilt. But she didn't know that the longer the evil demon stayed in her body, the worse she would feel, and the worse it would be if she died. The situation today is even worse, and she is now in the process of entering the hell of the earth in order to save his sister. Xiao Shui approached Xiao Mei to see if she could help. When she heard that someone had taken the initiative to find herself, Xiao Mei was a bit flustered. She didn't consult with the church beforehand, so she followed Xiao Shui to her home. Just as she entered the house, Xiao Mei saw a woman lying bloodless on the bed. Mei lifted her up again. She was ready to begin her exorcism, but as soon as she put the leftover water on her belly, the girl suddenly stared blankly, and the candlelight in the room went out instantly. As soon as Xiao Mei reacted, the next moment, with a scanty scream, the girl's belly suddenly rumbled up with visible speed, as if it was going to burst in the next second, and even at the end of the day, the evil spirit took direct control of the fan and smashed it so hard that it shattered the mirror nearby. When she saw such a horrific scene, Xiao Mei couldn't help but panic, but she could only suppress her panic and try to calm her down. But this time, no matter what she said, the demon was still inside her belly, so Xiao Mei could only ask Xiao Shui to recite the holy scriptures, and then with her own caressing, the woman's belly slowly returned to its original state. But after this incident, Xiao Mei's secret exorcisms, without authorization, were still known by the school to the school. Exorcism is a careful ritual, and if you're not careful, you'll fall into hell. Xiao Mei's act broke the school's taboo, so she was dismissed and sent back to her original post. Soon after, Xiao Shui told her the girl she exorcised was attacked by an evil spirit again. The school's priests couldn't handle it, so they sent the girl to the church for help. But as they moved, the girl's spirit awakened. They sent her to the return tank, but the demon in her awoke again. Father Jianzhuan was about to recite the scripture when the demon set the cross on fire. Jianzhuang sent her back to school, but when Xiao Handsome opened the door, she saw the girl covered in blood and a dead body beside her. Xiao Shui presented Xiao Mei with a necklace from a girl. Upon seeing it, Xiao Mei was overcome with sadness as an untold story unfolded. Years in the past, when she was young and lacked education, Xiao Mei was involved with numerous men and ended up pregnant. Unable to identify the father, she made the difficult decision to give the child away, leaving only the necklace behind. The girl, now possessed by a malevolent demon, was in fact her daughter, who felt abandoned and harbored hatred towards Mei. This deep resentment called forth the demon, which tormented Mei relentlessly until it led to her demise. In order to prevent the evil demon from harming her daughter, Xiao Mei decided to go and rescue her, but Xiao Shui told him that the evil demon inside her body had reached a point where it was hard to control, and that it had been locked up in the underground room of the school, which was heavily guarded and impossible to enter without permission. But even so, Xiao Mei decided to go alone, and in order to thank her for her help, Xiao Shui didn't even hesitate to risk being expelled from school. But as soon as they found the girl in one of the cells, they were stopped by 3 priests who told her to leave immediately and not to stay any longer. But their voices were so loud that the evil demon became impatient and, with a wave of her hand, sent the 3 priests straight to hell. Witnessing such a horrific scene, she knew that it was all the result of the girl's hatred for her. Witnessing such horror, May knew that it was all the result of her daughter's hatred for her. For this purpose, she first pleaded with her daughter, then begged the demon to free her from her body. As soon as Hua Ying finished speaking, the demon gave an evil smile. The possessed sister May lost herself, her eyes blackened, and her form darkened. When he saw this, Xiao Shuai immediately picked up the girl and ran out of the house, but the next moment, the iron door slammed shut, so Xiao Shuai had no choice but to put the girl down first, and then he took out his cross and carefully faced the devil, and the devil just moved his neck, and then he flew 2 kilometers away from Xiao Shuai. Lastly, he shifted his sights to the girl next to him, and she grabbed her by the neck, as if he was leading a chicken, and then he grabbed her by the neck and grabbed her by the neck. As easily as if she were a chicken, she pulled the girl up and grabbed her by the neck, and she was unable to break away, but she could only cry out "Mom" over and over again, and it was then that her mother's voice suddenly rang in her ears, and looking at the necklace in her hand, and listening to their voices, the little sister finally regained a shred of self-consciousness. But in order to prevent the evil spirits from taking hold of her again, she twisted her ankle horizontally, and took out her crucifix, and put it on her head, and then, as if the evil spirits had taken hold of her, she was able to get away from them. Yes. After a fierce battle, the lights in the basement finally came on, and May was able to defeat the strong demon by her own strength. At the end of the story, her daughter forgave May's mistake, and the two of them were reunited, and because of her victory over the demon, May was sent to the vanity gondola for further training. But on her way out of the car, at a crowded intersection, there appeared a strange old cow, and the driver became more and more bizarre. As she watched, May finally realized something was wrong, but she was just about to get out of the car and run away. The evil demon in Xiao Mei's body never left. It's been lurking there for a long time. Instead, it's been lurking inside her body, waiting for the next suitable opportunity. Okay, that's all for today's story. I'm Arafat. Subscribe for more video. We'll see you next time.